Hey everyone, it's Megan, and we are well into October, so I thought it would be fun to talk about some autumn and fall baby names. So autumn is actually my favorite season. I like each season for different reasons, but I think autumn's just the one that I like the most. And so for me, where I live this time of year is autumn. It falls from September 22nd to December 20th this year of 2013. Autumn evokes a lot of images and colors for me. I think of beautiful leaves, I think of pumpkins, although I'm not going to suggest pumpkin as a baby name. And it's just this sweet transition from summertime into wintertime. I tend to romanticize seasons, as you can probably tell, and perhaps some of that is because I live in Southern California. I've lived in multiple parts of California, and contrary to belief, we do get some seasons, and depending where you live, you might get a lot of seasons, but we don't get it too extreme where I am, but I still do enjoy some autumn. Autumn tends to lend itself to lots of like nature names and color names and quite a few tree names, as you'll see. I have 10 names for girls, 10 names for boys. I'll tell you my favorite from each of these on the list. Some of them I like way more than others, but I mean, it's always fun to talk about different names. And I hope that you will share in the comments below what names you love from this list as well. So let's get started with the girls' names. The first name I have is Amber. Amber is an English and Dutch word name. It's number 260 in popularity here in the United States right now. Amber is just this beautiful, like, orangish yellow color, which sometimes has specks of like gold and brown in it. It's a fossilized resin. I think amber is a very usable name. It was very popular in like the 80s and 90s and a bit in the end of the 70s, and it has been on the decline. The next name I have is Anona. Anona, I just have to say it again. It's Latin, it means of the harvest, and it's a Roman goddess who was a goddess of the harvest. Anona is so different, and I think it's not like a super obvious association to fall, and I think people who might like the name Winona might like Anona, and yeah, I just think it has a cool sound to it, Anona. Next up is Auburn. Auburn is an English word meaning reddish brown color. It is a color, reddish brown color. Auburn could be unisex. The reason I put it on the girls' side for this list is because I know a lot of people like the name Aubrey, and it's a much less common name, Auburn. So if you wanted to use Aubrey and have a less common first name, you could use Auburn. The next name on my list even is Aurelia. Aurelia, I think, sounds so cool. It's a Latin name meaning golden one. It is not in the top 1,000 here in the United States. Aurelia has a very beautiful, princess-like, very feminine quality to it. It's less common than names like Amelia that kind of have the same ring to it. Aurelia has just a wonderful richness to it, and I think it's sorely underused. I'd love to meet someone with this name. The next name I have is Autumn. How can I not include this name? It's an English word name for the season, and of course a motorcycle is going by. I'm so sorry. Okay, so autumn is for the season of autumn, the season of the harvest. It is number 68 in popularity. Autumn obviously conjures up images for me of the season, of the leaves, of the pumpkins, of, harvest and stuff like that. Next up I have the name Ceres. Ceres is the name of another Roman goddess. She's the goddess of a harvest as well, of agriculture, grains, fertility, and harvest, like I said. She's a lesser known goddess. There's not a whole lot of information on her. And I think part of the good thing, if you wanted to use this name, is it's not as well known of a goddess name if you wanted to give your child the name of a Roman or Greek god or goddess. It's not one that people are like, that's the one that did this, or that's the one that did that. But yeah, I don't know if any of you would ever use the name Ceres, but I think it's fun and interesting enough to mention and include in this video. Next up I have Hazel. Hazel is English meaning the hazelnut tree. It's number 175 in popularity. Hazel's kind of a twofold for me. It's that light brownish yellow color, and so when I think of hazel I think of a color. I also think of hazelnut spiced things, and that invokes kind of a warm autumn getting ready for winter feeling. Okay? Next up, I have Jora. Jora is a Hebrew name meaning autumn rain. I absolutely love that meaning. It comes from the name Jora, Y-O-R-E-H. And I have heard or read a little bit on the internet. I don't know how reliable it is. That Jora could be like a slang term for stinky in Hebrew. So I don't know. I think that it is a cool name. I love the meaning, like I said, autumn rain. Doesn't that sound like a candle or something, or like a fragrance? But I think it would make a really good character name, and I know a lot of people that watch my videos are writers. Next up, I have maple. Maple is an English word name for the tree name. Like I said, a lot of tree names, particularly more for boys coming up. So when I think of maple, I think of Canada. I think of maple syrup. I think of the beautiful maple leaves and just how glorious those are. And they're really just a sign that like fall is here. And then the last name I have on the list for girls is November. November is the 9th month. It's a month name, and it means 9th month. It's a Latin name. And it's the month where I feel like autumn really peaks where I am. It could be a unisex name as well. The reason I put it on my girls list is because I really like the idea of nicknames like Nova and Ember. I think that makes November so much more usable. So my favorite of these 10 names for autumn and fall is Aurelia. I don't know if I'd be quite brave enough to use it, but I think it's just so pretty. I tend to like these frilly girl names, and I'm not afraid to admit it. On to the boys' names. The first one I have is a little bit of a cheat. It's Asher. Asher is Hebrew, and it means blessed and fortunate. It's a great meaning. It's number 108 by itself. But you can get the nickname Ash, which is the one that kind of ties more into this theme. And Ash means from the ash tree. A tree known for beautiful fall colors. So I could have just put Ash, but it's kind of unisex, and I know a lot of people like Asher, so there you go. The next name I have is Birch. Birch is another tree name. It's beautiful fall oranges and reds. I've seen people on Pinterest. I feel like a lot of people are doing their mantles right now on Pinterest, and so in creating their fall mantles, they'll take pieces of the birch tree, little twigs off the tree, and kind of incorporate that with their gourds and pumpkins and things. Next up is Cedar. Cedar is English. It's a tree name. Surprise, surprise. Okay, I promise all the boys' names are not tree names, but quite a few are, so that's your warning. Yeah, but I think the reason I have so many tree names is they really do bring to mind just that natural visual part of fall. Like, you can tell the air is different, the trees have changed, we are in autumn, fall. Okay, and I think Cedar just sounds like a name. It sounds really usable and not quite as obvious as some of the other tree names like maple. Next is Forrest. Forrest is English. It means dweller near the woods. It is one of my favorite kind of guilty pleasure boy names. I love the movie Forrest Gump, but I don't want my kids to be like, run Forrest, run, or teased or taunted for it. But Forrest, I think, just sounds really cool. It brings to mind images of just a peaceful fall forest where like pixies would want to play in the colorful leaves. I know, I'm cheesy, but I can't help it. Next I have harvest. Harvest is a word name meaning, harvest season is when you gather up crops. And this is the season for it. It feels kind of like a name to me, harvest. Like I could see someone using it, definitely. You can use the nickname Harvey, or if you knew a Harvey and wanted to honor him, you could use harvest as a way to honor a Harvey. Next I have leaf. Leaf, okay, so I've brought up so many trees with their beautiful fall leaves. How can I exclude the actual word name leaf? So it's a word name, a nature name. Joaquin Phoenix actually used to go by Leaf for a while because his siblings have really nature names and he didn't, and he wanted to be included. But he has since gone back to loving his name Joaquin, which is a super cool name, I think, so yeah. Next I have Linden. Linden is English, meaning Linden Tree Hill. There was also President Lyndon Johnson here in the United States. I think it's a very usable name. It's a great autumn tree, but people won't know necessarily that you're using it as an association to autumn. So it's a twofold thing. Then I have October. October is Latin, meaning 8th. You'll see it listed on lots of, like in one of my books, it has it as a unisex name. Someone brought it up recently as a guilty pleasure name that she loved, and she loved Toby as a nickname for October, and I got so excited about that, and so I really like it in a guilty pleasure kind of way, but I think the nickname Toby kind of makes it feel more usable. It's a month name that falls under the season of autumn. Then I have pine. Pine is a nature word name for, guess what? The pine tree. Needless to say, these also come in vibrant, beautiful fall colors. Pine, I feel like something about it just feels like a little abrupt for a first name. Like, I want more, and I'm all for like one syllable first names, that's fine. But pine just feels a little short somehow. Some short names don't feel as short. But yeah, I could see it more as a middle name. I think it would be a really interesting middle name choice. And then the last name I have on the list is another short name, and it is rye. Rye is a word name, a nature name for that grass grown as a grain. And so I feel like I've been talking about looking up at these beautiful trees, but also look down at the beautiful fields of rye. I've only really heard it as a nickname for Ryan, used as a name, but I think this is another one that could make a really interesting middle name choice. So yeah, I thought it was worth including. My favorite of these boys' names is Forrest. I really like the name Forrest. I like the sound of it. I like Forrest, and yeah. And pixies apparently playing in them, and in the leaves and all sorts of things. So that's enough of my autumn name rant. I hope that you will share in the comments below what names that you like from this list, and any other autumn or fall names that you love, because of course this is not all inclusive. I hope you're having a wonderful autumn and fall wherever you are, and enjoy the season, and I will talk to you soon for the next video. Bye bye.